7 Shocking Types of People Who Haunt Your Life. Carl Jung's dark warning at 3 a.m. The clock struck 3. Darkness draped over the town like a silent, heavy blanket. Only the whispers of the wind broke the eerie stillness. But what if I told you that at this very hour, strange forces awaken, forces that drag the souls of the living into the realm of the spectral? This isn't some late-night horror tale. This is real. Meet the 7 haunting types of people who lurk in your life, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to strike. They affect you more profoundly than you realize, and once noticed, you can't unsee them. First, there's the energy vampire. You know the one. They drain your very essence as you share your successes, taking your joy and leaving just a hollow pit in your stomach. It's as if every smile fades into their shadow. Conversations with them leave you feeling weary, like you just sprinted a marathon. A tightness grips your chest as you try to navigate the emotional minefield they create. Suddenly, optimism feels out of reach, then there's the ghost of regret. Oh, how they haunt your thoughts. Every decision you wish you could take back plays like a broken record when they're around. They're skilled at bringing up past mistakes, twisting your insides like an old, rusty wrench. Their presence is a constant reminder that the choices you made once ripple through your life like heavy stones dropped in a pond. You can't escape it. Watch out for the chameleon, always shifting, never quite the same person from one encounter to the next. What are they really hiding? The uncertain facade is unsettling, leaving you navigating a labyrinth of deception. Will they even know who they are by the next morning? The lump in your throat grows with every interaction, caught between curiosity and disbelief, and just when you think it can't get worse, enter the comparison keeper. Their success is measured against yours. It's a haunting scoreboard that weighs heavy on your shoulders. Every time they achieve something, it feels like a blade cutting deeper into your self-worth. It's suffocating, isn't it? Suddenly every achievement of theirs seems like a ghostly specter looming over your head. As the night wears on, you can feel the tension crescendoing. Yet there's more to find, more to uncover. Hanging on to the promise of what's to come, you know you can't simply walk away. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect, but the night is not done. There's still the manipulator, always pulling strings to get what they want. The instant panic you feel when you sense their influence is paralyzing. Can you break free from their grasp? Then there's the unknown, those characters whose motives remain a clouded mystery. They're like shadows flitting just out of sight, always making your heart race. Each encounter leaves you wondering, who are they really? And finally, the time waster, drifting into your life with charm that quickly turns stale, sucking away your precious moments. You want to scream. Your heart pounds as you feel the seconds slip away into the void, breathless in realization. Now you stand at the threshold. Who among these haunting types envelopes your life? As the clock strikes 4, a chilling thought gnaws at your mind. What if you become one of them? What if someone out there feels your ghostly grip on their future? The thought leaves a burning sensation deep within. What will you discover when the dawn breaks? The clock ticked ominously, echoing in the darkness as the 4th hour unfolded, wrapping the town in an even tighter grip of unease. Each tick felt like a countdown, a reminder that time was slipping away as shadows danced, twisting into grotesque shapes around you. You could almost hear their laughter, the hidden energy of the haunted types gnawing at your psyche. With every heartbeat, you felt a growing urgency to break free from their stranglehold, but what lurked beyond those types? You hesitated. These figures had become too familiar, too woven into the fabric of your life. What if they weren't just harbingers of chaos? What if, deep down, they carried the whispers of a darker truth? The realization struck like a bolt of lightning, igniting a primal fear. This wasn't about them at all. This was about you. With that thought, you felt a chill creep up your spine. Your mind raced back, tracing paths through memories where you had been weak, where fear had cloaked you like a shroud. How many moments had you sacrificed being tangled up in their webs? The weight pressed heavily against your chest, and panic seeped in. What if you were not the sole victim? What if you had become an unwitting haunt in someone else's life? The world outside your window flickered under an eerie glow, streetlights buzzing, jumping shadows cast by the trees. Your heart raced. You glanced in the mirror, searching for the person you once knew. But what greeted you was a stranger. Eyes wide, borders blurry, thoughts muddled. Had you lost yourself in their chaos? The thought sank deep into your guts, twisting with a cruel reminder of every toxic interaction. Across the street, a figure flickered in and out of focus. You leaned closer to the window, squinting. Was it a chameleon? A shapeshifter of emotions? Or something far more sinister? Every individual has their secrets, but this felt different, a malevolent energy crackling in the air around them. You felt your breath hitch in your throat, fingers trembling against the windowpane. Without warning, they glanced up. Your breath caught. Their eyes piercing, dark, locked onto yours, sending waves of anxiety crashing through you. You were exposed. The instant connection sent cold tendrils of dread swirling through your veins. It was as if they were peeling back the layers of your soul, sifting through your past regrets with an unsettling ease. The shadows thickened as a sudden knock shattered the stillness. You jumped, heart racing. Who could be at your door at this hour? Instinctively, you stepped back from the window, pulse racing. Was it a friend? Or a haunting specter from your past? With hesitation, you approached the door, your caution intensifying. Breaths shallow, you whispered, "Who is there?" But there was no reply. Only silence. A creeping unease spread through you. You knew whoever awaited you on the other side likely had a purpose, dark and twisted. The mysteries of the night pressed in on you. You had to know. So, gripping the doorknob tightly, you swallowed hard, prepared for whatever lay beyond. Life as you knew it hung in the balance, and as the clock chimed ominously, you turned the knob. What awaited you? An ally or an enemy with dark truths of their own? The door creaked open, revealing a silhouette backlit by the dim hallway light. A tall figure stood there, casting an elongated shadow that seemed to reach for you. You squinted, heart hammering like a drum in your chest. Who are you?" You whispered, your voice trembling as if the night itself might swallow it whole. The figure stepped closer, the details sharpening like the edges of a dream. A face emerged from the gloom, haunted but oddly familiar. Your stomach churned, recognizing the deep-set eyes, those piercing dark irises that seemed to pierce right through you, like the figure across the street. "Evelyn," they breathed, voice low and heavy. "You remember me, don't you?" Panic wrapped around your chest tighter than a vice. It was Tommy, a twisted echo from your past, someone you thought you left behind. A ghost, yes, but one you had wished to forget. Memories of laughter twisted into nightmares resurfaced, clawing their way up from the depths of your mind. "Why are you here?" You could barely meet his gaze, your voice faltering under the weight of unspoken history. Tommy's smile was unsettling, a crooked question mark that only deepened your anxiety. "I came to offer you a chance. We can change everything. We can go back to that night." Vivid flashes of that night hit you like a wave, heartache and horror clawing at your sanity. What night? You played innocent, though the truth loomed heavy in the room. "The night we struck a deal," he said, a sinister note creeping into his voice. Dependably vague, it was a promise wrapped in a riddle. "You have been haunted by the shadows ever since. You know this." Guilt gnawed at your insides. The twist of the knife you had long buried with the memories came screaming back, the pact you thought you'd escaped now thrust back into your face. "I don't want anything to do with that. I thought we were rid of it." "Ah, but it doesn't work that way. You can't just walk away." His smile faded, replaced by something primal, something darker. The shadows will always find you, Evelyn. But I can help. The air crackled between you with the energy of buried secrets, unspoken fears. Outside, the shadows thickened with every tick of that damned clock, deepening the darkness surrounding you. What do you mean? You narrowed your eyes, desperate to slice through the fog. Let me show you. He stepped forward, closing the door behind him with a soft click that felt like a shackle fastening around your heart. Together, we can confront them, expose the truth buried at the bottom of your soul. Disgust and trepidation choked you. His offer played on old fears and buried hopes, the devil's bargain of wanting wisdom yet fearing the fire. I don't trust you, you said, conviction rising as adrenaline coursed through you. Trust isn't what you need, he replied, his tone cold yet enticing. You need to know, and you need to act before it consumes you. You hesitated, weighing your options like a tightrope walker straddling between two worlds. Spurred on by desperation and curiosity, you took a step closer. What must I do? Tommy's smile returned, predatory and thrilling. Meet me at the old quarry tonight. The truth is waiting. But beware, just as light exposes shadows, the truth may unleash horrors you never imagined. Every instinct screamed at you to run, yet part of you felt strangely drawn to the depths of your own darkness. Could this be the moment your tortured past met? The clock chimed once, twice, a countdown echoing through your bones as dread settled in your core. What awaited you at the quarry? Would it break the hold of your past or plunge you deeper into shadows? You swallowed hard and braced yourself. Time was running out. Your heart raced as the night grew thick around you, wrapping you in a cloak of dread. The distant call of an owl added to the eerie calm, echoing like a random thought spiraling in your mind. The quarry loomed ahead, its jagged edges cutting sharply against the moonlight. Each step felt heavier than the last, the ground crunching beneath you like thunder against the stillness. Is this what you wanted? Why was the urge to confront the past so strong? Inhaling sharply, you tried to steel yourself. You had faced tough choices before, but this felt different. A wild shiver coursed down your spine as the memory of Tommy's hollow grin flickered in your mind. The idea of facing shadows they warned you about felt like tempting fate with a candle in a storm. The quarry stood before you like a gaping maw, darkness swirling within that seemed alive, breathing, waiting. You rubbed your arms, trying to ward off an unseen chill, and stepped further into the unknown. Tommy? You called, tightening your grip on the flashlight in your trembling hand. The beam seemed fragile, flickering against the abyss. No answer, just an echoed silence that dripped like honey, thick and suffocating. A distant sound made your heart jump, the rustling of leaves, a whispered voice. Evelyn, it was him. The way he said your name sent fear rushing back, raw and unfiltered. You turned your flashlight, heart pounding as the beam scanned the rocky walls, each crevice absorbing the light, swallowing it whole. Over here. His voice was deceptively calm, luring you deeper into the shadows. Taking a breath, you stepped closer. The air thickened, heavy with unaccounted memories. As you moved, the flashlight caught something glimmering beneath the loose rocks at your feet. You knelt down, heart racing, revealing a tiny locket. It was cold and familiar, yet hauntingly distant. You opened it, and the small picture inside brought forth a flood of memories you had locked away. It was you and Tommy smiling, carefree. But the shadows inside the locket began to twist. Faces morphed through the thin glass, fragments of laughter turning into screams, vibrant colors dimming into grays. The light flickered again, and you slammed the locket shut, shoving it into your pocket. Do you see? Tommy's voice danced between you like a flicker of a flame. You snapped your head up, suddenly aware of his presence closer than before. No. Betrayal strung tightly in your chest. This isn't what I want. Isn't it? He pressed, his face hardening, darkness weaving through his features. You can't run from what you are. What we are. A rumble echoed deep inside the quarry, almost like the ground itself was awakening. You've buried too much, Evelyn. But everything you've hidden, every secret, it's all here now, waiting to rise. Your thoughts raced as panic threaded through you, but you pushed it back, mustering a final breath of courage. I will not be a part of your game. The words came out raw, like shards of glass bursting from your throat. Game. Tommy's eyes gleamed with something unnameable in the darkness. This is the truth, you just don't want to admit it. As energy crackled in the air, the shadows seemed to shift, bending, curling, growling with a threatening pulse. You were standing at the edge of a precipice, and the chasm below promised neither safety nor solace. Desperation fought with resolve as you looked at him, searching for remnants of the boy you once knew. What do you want? The quarry holds more than your past, Evelyn. If you want to confront it, you must dive deeper, but know this. Suddenly, the ground beneath you trembled, sending a shower of loose rocks tumbling toward the void. You may not like what you find. You took a shuddering breath, glancing back into darkness, heart racing as you prepared to leap into the unknown. One small step could change everything, but the question lingered, would you sacrifice your peace for the truth? And as you quivered with dread, the shadows inched closer, whispering promises of fears locked away. You took one last look at Tommy, determination sharpening. Your resolve, what secrets would the darkness reveal? The echoes of nightmares accompanied you as you stepped forward, plunging headfirst into the unknown. The darkness enveloped you like a thick fog, swallowing your senses whole. The ground beneath your feet rumbled again as you descended lower, the quaking pulling at the edges of your sanity. You could hear Tommy's voice echoing deep down within the crevices, each word a pull that seemed to tangle around your heart. Evelyn, he said, a coaxing melody threaded with malice. Don't be afraid. You're ready for this. Each breath tasted like iron, the taste of fear mingled with adrenaline pushed you onward. You reached the first ledge, barely illuminated by the frail light of your flashlight. Shadows danced manically around you, taunting, waiting for you to let your guard down. You pressed your back against the cold wall, desperately scanning for Tommy's figure, an apparition among the living and the dead. Why are you doing this? You shouted, your voice breaking the oppressive silence only to give way to the echo of your own words. What do you want me to remember? Silence swept in like a thief, stealing the moment. And then, just like that, a glimmer caught your eye in the darkness, the glint of something metallic nearly swallowed by dry leaves. You bent down, heart racing, and unearthed a rusty pocket knife, well-worn but eerily familiar. A surge of memories flooded back, crashing against the shores of your mind. Days spent sharing secrets with Tommy, whispers echoing between the trees, so innocent, so carefree. But there was always another layer, a darkness underlying those memories that you had worked so hard to suppress. As you fumbled with the knife in your hand, its weight shifted the atmosphere. The quiet quietly shifted into laughter, distant echoes spiraling. Was that Tommy's laughter twisting into something unholy? Ah, I see you're starting to remember, he crooned, his voice dripping with an unsettling joy. You gripped the knife tighter, something inside you flipping. This isn't a game, you countered, feeling the warmth of anger rise to meet fear. No, it's a wake-up call. His voice turned serious, the laughter fading, and you could almost see his shadow blending with the rocks. You can't keep denying what's inside you. Look deeper, Evelyn. You know you have the power to confront the truth. And then it slipped, your grip weakened, and the knife clattered to the ground, a sharp noise that echoed through the cavernous depths of the quarry. A pang of panic gripped you. Yet as it echoed, the laughter played again, but now mixed with sobs, a heart-wrenching symphony of joy and pain. You squeezed your eyes shut, willing the memories to quiet. Stop. Just stop. I'm not ready. Desperation clawed at your throat. But the ground shook beneath you once more violently this time. Your heart pounded as the walls seemed to inhale, a cavernous beast awakening. You stumbled back, grasping at memories, shadows, and phantoms swirling around you. Evelyn. Tommy's voice shot back with sudden urgency. You must choose. Face the darkness with me or drown in your fear. The decision twisted painfully in your gut. Gritting your teeth, you took a step forward, heart hammering wildly. The shadows seemed to pull back slightly, as if awaiting your choice. You knew there was no room for hesitation, but the thrill of the unknown clawed and tugged, pulling you into a race against time. The knife lay not far, a glimmer of both past and future, a bridge between what you were and what had yet to be. Would you take up the blade and cut through the darkness? Or was this a fight you were destined to lose? Standing at the precipice of fate, you open your mouth to speak. And then, without warning, the ground shuddered violently, sending you sprawling, the world twisting as everything began to crumble around you. What would happen if you fell into the abyss? The air turned electric, and a primal instinct kicked in. The world spun faster, the jagged rocks and steep cliffs overwhelming you. Your heartbeat thundered in your ears, a relentless drum that urged you to fly, to run, to escape. But where would you go? The crushing darkness loomed, whispering of choices and consequences. As the ground trembled, a part of you wanted to dive into the shadows, to let them swallow you whole. After all, hadn't fear always been your crutch? Wouldn't it be easier to surrender? But you couldn't ignore Tommy's words, each one cutting deep, acting like a beacon in this oppressive gloom. You had to face this. You scrambled to your knees, your fingers sweeping across the gritty earth, searching for the knife. The echoes of laughter twisted into wails, and you felt the tremors of dread pooling around you, thick like molasses. Eyes wide, you spotted the knife, glinting with anticipation. It felt like a promise, a tool to carve through the darkness that clung to your memories. Evelyn. Tommy's voice resonated deeper now, a siren song laced with urgency. The darkness is just as much a part of you as the light. Embrace it. You know the truth lies within. What truth? Panic ignited inside, a flare against the shadows. Clutching the knife, its handle was cool against your clammy palm, grounding you in this manic storm of emotions. Were you brave enough to wield it, or would it become another anchor, dragging you further into despair? A cacophony of thoughts blurred your focus, memories of laughter turning sour, shadows of secrets that refused to die. Taking a deep breath, you gripped the knife tighter and stood. With every pulse of your heart, echoes of the dark past flared in your mind. The image of Tommy, younger, carefree, and then his face transforming into a mask of betrayal passed like smoke through your consciousness. Anger clenched your throat, a fire igniting the fear. Enough! You shouted into the void, your own voice shaking the darkness. I won't be a victim anymore. The air shifted, crackling with heat and energy. The shadows recoiled momentarily, reflecting your sudden resolve. But then they surged back, swirling around you like a tempest. They whispered your fears, hurling your memories at you, a montage of every secret you buried, every lie, every shadow of Tommy that hovered just out of view. Just as despair threatened to swallow you alive, the knife surged in your grip, pulsing with a strange warmth. It reminded you of the bond you once shared with Tommy, the shared joy, the childhood laughter, but also of betrayal and pain. The knife was both weapon and symbol. Did it represent your pain or your power? Each memory flashed before your eyes with seductive power, his laughter, then the betrayal, like a pendulum swinging between light and dark. You felt something snap within you, a realization that turned everything on its head. Tommy's darkness was also yours. It didn't have to define you. With that thought, you straightened, bringing the knife close to your chest. As the laughter and wails crescendoed into a raucous storm, the ground gave one last violent quake. You teetered at the edge, heart racing, and in that terrifying moment, you knew it was time to make your choice. Would you leap into the abyss or embrace the knife? Taste the raw power of confronting your truth. With the shadows pressing impossibly close, you took a step forward, heart pounding in your throat like a caged bird. And then it hit you, a realization sharp enough to draw blood. The knife was not merely a blade, it was a reflection of the choices you faced. But in the final storm of chaos, another presence clawed at your senses, piercing through the noise. Something or someone was watching. Caution ricocheted through you. Who else lurked in these depths? What waited in the darkness beyond Tommy and your memories? And before you could answer, another tremor rocked the quarry, unveiling a deeper chasm. What if you weren't the only one standing on the precipice? What more lurked in the shadows waiting for you to make your move? The darkness loomed heavier now, a thick blanket that pressed against your skin, squeezing the breath from your lungs. You turned slowly, knife in hand, scanning the shadows that writhed and twisted like restless specters. Every instinct screamed at you to flee, but the reality was relentless. Deep down, you knew you couldn't run anymore. The ground underfoot trembled again, a low rumble that made your skin prickle. Tiny pebbles skittered across the earth, escaping the weight of a fear more powerful than gravity. With an unsteady breath, you steadied yourself, shifting your focus. You had to confront whatever was hidden here, whatever was watching you. Nobody can hurt me again, you whispered to yourself, though doubt gnawed at the edges of your conviction. Then, from the dark, a figure shifted. It moved just at the edge of your vision, slender, slight, like a wisp of smoke. You squinted, straining to peer through the shadows. Was it a trick of your mind, or had someone truly stepped from the abyss? Your heart picked up, pounding out a rapid tattoo in your chest. "Who is there?" You called out, your voice firmer than you felt. The whispers around you thinned as if the shadows themselves were holding their breath. "Evelyn." The voice came soft as silk, yet cut through the air like glass. It sent a cold shiver down your spine. It was familiar, it echoed the warmth of memories you had buried, memories intertwined with fear and betrayal. "Tommy." The shadows coalesced, shifting and swirling to form his shape, a presence both haunting and intimate. His eyes glinted with a strange light, a mixture of mischief and despair that made your skin crawl. In this moment of surreal clarity, you understood, he wasn't merely a fragment of your past. He was a mirror reflecting the parts of you you wished to forget. "I've waited for you to embrace what I've given you, a chance at understanding," he said, his voice softer now. "You can't keep running from your truth, Ev. It's always been here. Why now?" You shot back, stepping forward, the knife slick in your grip. "Why should I trust you? All you did was betray me." A shroud of silence fell, swallowing your anger whole. Tommy's gaze deepened, pulling you in, and suddenly, the chaos of emotion erupted. Within your fury was confusion, betrayal, and a flicker of longing. How could someone who brought you so much pain also be the one to reveal freedom? "Because every shadow is born of light, Evelyn. You can't dismiss me without also dismissing your own light." His words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. You faltered, uncertainty creeping in, clawing at your resolve. Was it true? Could the pain have birthed understanding? The edge of the knife felt sharper now, a reminder that you held the power to change your fate. Before you could think, a sudden sharp laughter sliced through the air. It echoed off the rocky walls, a twisted mockery that made your skin turn cold. The ground shook beneath you again, the chasm widening. Fragments of rock crumbled, falling away into the abyss below. "What is happening?" You shouted to Tommy, your voice tearing through the cacophony. "They're coming. Those who've made the choices you refuse to face. Embrace your truth, Evelyn. Or you will be consumed." His urgency made your heart race as you staggered back, gripping the knife like a lifeline. The shadows roared in laughter. You looked away for just a moment, and when you turned back, Tommy was gone, leaving behind only an echo of his gaze. Panic engulfed you. There was a choice to make, but now, with the ground unstable, the moment felt urgent, desperate. That's when you saw it, a flicker of movement in the depths of the darkness, something vast and hungry shifting just out of view. "Who are you?" You breathed, realizing with bone-chilling clarity that you weren't alone. The shadows bathed the quarry in eerie silence as something snarled just beyond the veil. What awaited you now? What power did you have left? A primal fear gripped your heart, but as the presence loomed larger, you knew that the moment of truth was here, and as the darkness pressed tight against you, all you could do was prepare for the inevitable reckoning. The air thickened with a suffocating weight, drawing closer as your instinct screamed anew. A low growl rumbled like thunder, slashing through the stillness. Shadows shifted, pulsating as the darkness seemed to breathe around you, stretching out in all directions. Each pulse sent a sharp shiver up your spine while your heart raced ferociously. Caught in a wild dance with fear, you squinted into the dark, trying to identify whatever lurked beyond the edge of your vision. The sound grew louder, layered with a growling dissonance that both thrilled and terrified you. It was closing in, and yet, somehow you felt frozen, rooted by a mix of terror and something darker curiosity. Suddenly, a massive shape coalesced from the dark, grotesque yet somehow mesmerizing. It loomed, twisting and contorting like a nightmare that had taken physical form. Jagged teeth gleamed in the sparse light, glistening with an unspoken hunger. All sight of escape vanished the moment those eyes, the color of dying embers, locked onto yours. You took a shaky breath, the knife still gripped tight, knuckles whitening. "Get back." The words sputtered from your lips, instilled with a fierce determination even though they trembled at the edges. The creature paused, head tilting slightly as if intrigued by your defiance. The growl shifted to a deep rumble, almost questioning, as if it understood your fear but craved your challenge. The ground lurched again, and the shadows danced violently, casting erratic shapes on the walls, reflections of memories, of moments long buried. Faces emerged, echoing familiar screams, pleas for mercy twisted into murmurs of laughter. They were the echoes of your past, every choice now clawing at you in unforgiving clarity. As the creature moved closer, you felt an eerie sense of recognition. The whispers were now louder, revealing fragments of your painful decisions, missed opportunities, the betrayal buried deep within. "What do you want?" You gasped, caught between anger and the suffocating pull of despair. The entity halted, darkness swirling tighter around it, and a voice crept forth from the shadows. "To reveal," it echoed, reverberating through the air like an ancient chant, "who you truly are." You flinched, instinctively stepping back. The knife felt heavy in your hand, but the urge to strike was overshadowed by a deeper, unsettling curiosity. "No." You gasped, the emotions threatening to overwhelm you. "Face it, Evelyn," the voice rolled, laced with malice, yet holding a glimmer of truth. "Embrace your darkness or be consumed by it." The shadows twisted with energy, momentarily illuminating the creature, revealing not a monster, but a reflection darker and more potent than you'd imagined. Your heart thumped painfully in your chest as realization washed over you. This wasn't simply a beast from your nightmares. It was a part of you, the shadow you refused to own. Each pulse of the darkness resonated within you, a clash of what you despised and what you yearned to accept. "I want tea." You cried out, defiance spilling over, but doubt crept in. "I'm not afraid." The creature laughed, an unsettling sound that trapped your spirit. "Fear is an illusion, Ev. Surrender, and see what lies beyond, or clutch to your pride and face the endless void." Around you, the shadows warped, swirling like a violent storm. You could feel the ground trembling beneath your feet. It was happening, the chasm widening, the uncertainty solidifying. In that moment, a flicker of clarity struck. You could own your fears, harness the power they provided. But the choice lay heavy over your heart. Could you confront what you had denied for so long? As the abyss beckoned, you felt the pull of both fear and something else, a haunting curiosity of the truth just waiting to be discovered. You took a deep breath, eyes locked on that feral gaze. "Show me," you whispered, letting your fear edge closer to the truth, ready to embrace the shadows in their haunting beauty. But the moment you surrendered, silence clung heavily to the air. The creature halted, eyes narrowing, as the darkness around you pulsated with an unknown power, ready to spill forth. What would the shadows reveal? And in that unsettling quiet, a new threat loomed, dark and enigmatic, shifting just beyond reach, whispering of secrets that would forever change you. The reckoning was near. Would you brave the depths and unearth the truth, or would you remain shackled in fear? The air grew denser, a tension that felt almost electric. You stood on the precipice, teetering between the choice to embrace the looming shadows or succumb to the fear clinging to your bones. The creature before you shimmered in the fragile light, eyes glowing with a knowing depth, as if it could see into your very soul. "Show me," you whispered again, the words tasting foreign and brave. In a heartbeat, the shadows twisted around you, cool like velvet yet sharp like ice. The air trembled with anticipation, the silence swelled, squeezing at your chest. And then, within the thick darkness, you felt a boiling surge pulsating through the ground beneath your feet. Suddenly, visions flashed in front of your eyes. Scenes from your past burst forth like fireworks in the night sky. There was the moment you turned your back on a friend, the final word spat in a heated argument with a loved one, the cowardice of missed chances and unspoken dreams. Each memory felt like a knife, a raw wound reopened, each an echo of the darker facets of you. Do you see? The voice thundered, reverberating through the vaporous gloom. The parts you hide, the thoughts you suppress, they define you as much as the light you cling to. Terrors erupted within you, grappling for control over your senses. Stop! You screamed, reeling from the flood of memories clawing their way to the forefront. You stumbled backwards, the knife slipping from your grasp, clattering onto the floor like a forgotten promise. It felt wrong, so wrong, to be exposed like this. The creature loomed closer, dark tendrils stretching as if to beckon you forward. No. But the fight in you seemed to wane. You were both repelled and drawn to the unfolding truth as if it held the key to understanding. The shifting shadows carried whispers of secrets you were too afraid to confront. What are you? You pleaded, hands shaking, desperation flooding your veins. I am what you've denied, the creature replied, its voice a low, velvety growl. It lunged forward, and you braced yourself, ready for the inevitable collision. Instead, the creature paused a breath away, its fiery gaze piercing through the fog of your thoughts. I am the path to your truest self. All you need do is step into the shadows. In that pause, a sliver of hope flickered. Maybe the shadows weren't here to consume you, but to free you. Could acceptance unlock the door to self-discovery? The depth of your struggle was beginning to reshape in your mind, a vivid brushstroke of color amid the chaos. A wind howled through the space, lifting strands of hair off your face. In that moment, you glimpsed something hidden within the haze and outline, a memory not tainted by regret. Your heart skipped a beat as you recognized it, an encounter with someone you had lost. What if you could rescue that connection hidden amidst the darkness? Let me in, you murmured, reaching out with an open hand toward the creature that held your reflection, but as it stepped closer, the air thickened with a suffocating fear, a seismic jolt of panic as that new threat you sensed emerged from beyond the veil of shadows. Shapes began swirling, multiplying, twisting into silhouettes that danced around you, a gathering storm of forgotten faces, each one twisted in rage and grief. Evelyn, a chorus whispered, face us or be swallowed whole. The shadows surged forward, maw open wide, ready to engulf both you and the truth you sought, with the past crashing down like waves upon you. Could you find the strength to ground yourself, to pierce through the chaos? Or would you drown in the abyss, lost forever to the whispers of the shadows? And in that moment, a question hung in the air, trembling with possibility. Was the truth a path to freedom, or merely a deeper descent into darkness? Evelyn stood at the precipice, shadows swirling around her like a tempest threatening to consume everything. The echoes of past mistakes rose like a tide, crashing upon her as she looked out at the swarm of faces swirling in shadows, memories of anger, regret, and longing twisting together, each one brushing against her with an urgency that sent shivers down her spine. Evelyn, the voices weaved through the chaos, each whisper drenched in sorrow and fury. Face us or be lost. She gripped the knife, its coldness pale against the warmth of her trembling hands. This was the moment. The choice hung heavily in the air, weighty like the shadows pressing in. She took a deep breath, determination surging within her. I want to let you drown me, she declared, her voice rising above the clamor. The darkness surged forward, a wave of suffocating emotion, but instead of recoiling, she pushed into it, into the pain and regret, into the memories that had haunted her for too long. I see you, she cried. I see everything. A surge of clarity shot through her, igniting her courage like a match in the night. Each face, each voice, became clearer, the laughter, the tears, the choices made and unmade. The creature shifted, recoiling slightly, confusion flickering in its ember-like eyes. You cannot, I can. Evelyn shouted, silencing the swell of dread. All the things I've hid from myself, all the lies I've lived, I won't run from them anymore. This is my truth. Her heart raced with every word, affirmations spilling free like rushing water. I am not just my mistakes, I am all of it, the light, the dark, the moments of joy and the regrets. The shadows hesitated, a gust of wind swirling through as if the darkness had momentarily lost its grip. Evelyn stepped further into the abyss, feeling the edges of her fear dissolve as understanding washed over her. You don't control me. I choose who I am. With that declaration, she raised the knife, pointing it toward the approaching darkness like a beacon. Begin your reveal. I embrace all of it. The shadows recoiled, swirling violently, resisting the light that she now wielded within her. Suddenly, vivid imagery erupted from the depths, a torrent of memories cascading bright against the backdrop of darkness. Faces and moments passed before her eyes, a friend she betrayed, a sister she let down, and laughter shared with Tommy, that pure, untainted joy. As they floated around her, the painful memories merged with those of love and hope. Time seemed suspended as the space pulsated around her. The swirling mass coalesced into figures, faces flickering and changing until finally, they crystallized, each one representing a piece of her existence, a part of the intricate mosaic that formed who she was. With every breath, she saw the fabric of her being, threads of pain woven closely with those of strength. I am whole. Evelyn shouted into the tempest. I will not be consumed. The shadows howled, a dissonant chorus as they twisted and shrieked in defiance. But Evelyn stood firm, her heart steady, her mind radiant with newfound clarity. The shadows began to retreat, unraveling as her light shone brighter. And suddenly there was silence, the churning void around her smoothed into stillness, shadows evaporating like mist under the sun. The creature loomed before her, its form shifting, trembling with energy. You cannot be, it muttered, surprise mingling with something like admiration. I can, Evelyn said confidently. And I will keep transforming. My past shapes me, but it does not bind me. The knife slipped from her grasp, clattering down into the shadows, no longer needed as she stepped into the light of her own truth. The darkness flickered, dissolving into the ether behind her, and the quarry grew bright with a living warmth. The figures of her past, those she feared facing, smiled gently from the edges of the light. It was as if they were sharing in her redemption, each wave of emotion whispered through the air, sending ripples of compassion. Tommy appeared, his shadow fading as he took a step towards her, no longer that twisted echo of the past. You are free, Evelyn. Tears flowed freely down her cheeks, drawing a cascade of release. Thank you for showing me the way, she whispered, finally allowing herself to feel all the ache and beauty that came with acceptance. As she took one more look around, the quarry sparkled with new energy. The weight that had once shackled her heart felt lifted, replaced by an enormous sense of lightness, freedom steaming through her bones. In that moment, she knew she had faced the haunting specters of her life and come out whole. With a final glance at the horizon of darkness, she walked away, stepping into the dawn of a new beginning. And now it's your turn. If you found strength in Evelyn's journey, if you felt the pulse of her revelation within yourself, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to keep this story alive with the algorithm. I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about Evelyn's journey. And don't wait even one more second. Share this video with 5 friends who need to discover their own truth. Your connection makes a difference in our growing community.